Siplikov. You're trying to keep Gauthier. What do you do? My question to everyone, and I already posted this for Gary beforehand because I didn't want to leave him, going, okay. My question to all of you, will Pierre Engvall become the next Wade Redden?
And
And
it
for
took
those
me
of
it
you,
took me it took me a good half a minute to remember it. I'm going, wait,
yes,
I was like, oh crap, and the Rangers. Yes.
yes. For those
Yes.
of you who don't remember or may not know, Wade Redden, a former New York Islanders first round pick, by the way, signed
Traded for Brian Berard.
traded for Brian Berard. He signed a 4-year deal, I believe, with the New York Rangers organization. He only played for New York for the first two, and then was sent down
To Hartford.
to the Hartford/Connecticut Whale. He spent the last 2 seasons in the American Hockey League, and I believe Wade Redden was making, I think at the time, $5 million, $6
Yeah, I think it
million.
was close to it. I'm
Yeah,
looking it up right now, actually, but I think it was close to
yeah,
it.
absolutely. And he spent that time. Brian's like, I got that right away. I know. Okay, but again, Wade Redden spent the next 2 years in the American Hockey League. He was the most expensive American Hockey League player.
Played 119 games in the AHL, 12 goals, 50 assists, 62 points.
Right. So here's how it would work, at least cap wise, from a forward perspective. And I'm going to have to bring up Hudson Fasching as well. Pierre Engvall, if you were to send him down, you would probably clear, if I'm not mistaken, if the numbers are right, $1.15 million. The Islanders
Oh,
would
by the
say,
way, let me correct you on Wade Redden, because it was
yes.
a 6-year contract worth $39 million.
Oh, so it was
Six
six.
point
Plus.
$6.5 million a year.
Okay, maybe not the
So
next
he
Wade
got
Redden, but you
$13
guys are knowing where I'm
million.
going.
He got $13 million. He could have been the freaking mayor of Hartford.
Oh, I get that. But you guys know where I'm going with this. Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and I agree, Robin. He had a down year. He's better on average, but he was also a -5 in one game. For me, it's and again, this next month is going to be completely tested here. Who's going to play Patrick Waugh's system to a T, or at least close to it? Engvall right now seems to be struggling with that.
And if
So
you remember too, just adding a point onto this, Patrick Rock.
no, won't be
He's
sick.
a
Go ahead.
riot.
Go ahead.
But if you remember correctly, when Patrick Rock first came on board, Gauthier was up
Yes.
with the team, and he only lasted 2 or 3 games and got shoved back down.
Right.
And you figure, a lot of people figure, oh, the French Canadian, he's going to stick with him. He didn't. He dumped them back.
Right.
And those couple of games that Gauthier played, he was horrible. So
Right.
I think over the summer, he kind of learned a lesson and said, look, if I want to play with this team, I've got to change my whole style of play. And to me,
And
he's
that's
coming
Wally
out
did
like
too.
gangbusters.
Right.
Absolute gangbusters. And he's earning that shot. He's
Right.
taking advantage of it and earning it. I don't see Engvall doing that. And with his style and the way he is, I know it's not laziness, but when you're looking at it in the stands and looking at the way he's going around, it does look that way.
Right.
It's more evident. It's you see it on the TV screen, but it's really more evident when you're looking at it on the ice.
Right.
In the stands.
And I'm going to go back to this real quick here, because David, to a point, has somewhat of a point with the contract. I've said this before, and I will say it again. And Cutler already knows this. Cutler's too smart for this anyway. Everyone needs to worry about the CBA at the end of 2 years. Do I see Pierre Engvall as a New York Islander if he doesn't improve his game in 2 years? Probably not. That contract will be gone after the CBA has been ratified. That's number one.
We'll see how many see how many breaks they allow you.
Exactly. Now, the second part to that, Gary, Cutler, the rest of you, St. Lou doesn't have anyone that wants to trade for Engvall, even though he's got a 16-team no trade list. Okay, there is the possibility that one of those teams not on his list that he doesn't want to be traded to wants him, but Lou threatens to send him to Bridgeport. You think he's going to waive? Yeah, he'll waive. He'll go. But let's have a flip side here. What if there's no team that wants Pierre Engvall or the contract? Let's be more specific.
Mm-hmm.
And there's a threat of Bridgeport looming. Engvall refuses to go. What do you have? You have a breaching contract. Oh, look at that. The contract can be terminated because Engvall's not reporting to the American Hockey League.
That's right.
You never know. Either way, if there you go, Cutler. Absolutely. They should have two, by the way.
Yeah.
You're looking at least
my
two.
guess.
You're looking at least two, Cutler. There we go. See, this is why I love you guys. You guys actually listen to us and you don't go nuts on the other boards. We love you guys. Okay. Anything can happen with Pierre Engvall at this point. The question is, does he want to rack up the $21 million? Or does he want to play in the NHL? If he wants to play in the NHL, he's got to step his game up and play a Patrick Roy system. Because Patrick's here for we'll go 2 years solid. He's got to get his game up. Right now, Gary, I think from what I've heard and from what I've read, he's
the odd man out.
Oliver Wahlstrom's had a pretty good camp over.
He has had a good camp. Again, you try to isolate and see how and he looked good the other night when I saw him. I was pretty impressed. And I won't say impressed, but I like the fact that there was no hesitation in his going back to back check. Because we all know he's had that ability to just like stutter there for a minute before he has to go do something. So right. I was pleased with that. I think he's kind of getting it now, and he realizes he could do all that stuff and then get back in the play and be involved, i.e. Matthew Barzal.
Right.
I think he's finally figuring those things out.
Yeah.
Say, hey, if Matt can do it, hell, I can do it.
Yeah.
And I really think that makes a big difference. You see your contemporary and, a guy who, has similar hands and similar attributes, and he's playing that full game.
Yep. So,
which he would have did if he stayed 2 or 3 years in damn college.
Mm-hmm. I know. That's another conversation for another day. We'll have Mike back on soon.
Yeah.
But boys and girls, Pierre Engvall, it's on him. That's really what we're down to. Does he want us play in the NHL? Or does he want to collect the $21 million? It's going to be his call at this point. And if Lou can trade, and you know what? Let's do this, Cutler. Let's have some fun with this. If Engvall was traded to San Jose for future considerations, San Jose is getting a player for free with the salary cap going up roughly $4 million again next year. It's pennies on the dollar for San Jose. And if they don't like him, they can buy him out. But I don't think San Jose, being a rebuild team, is going to buy out Pierre Engvall after the CBA. I don't think so. Yes. Robidas Island. Yes. That's where we're heading towards all of this, folks. Again, if Engvall does clear, the Islanders would be saving themselves $1.15 million. The other casualty to all of this as well might be Hudson Fasching. He's been injured. He hasn't really had much of a camp. Hasn't really been able to do anything. Again, when you have Ilya Sorokin, putting
The
him
only
on
thing is, the only
LTIR,
thing I think good for him is I think he'd clear waivers.
I think he would clear waivers, especially now. If you were to if you were to send him now, clear waivers. That's saving 775. You can now keep Julian Gauthier and Siplikov there if you send down Pierre Engvall at some point. It doesn't have to be October. We've already gone through this. You can put Sorokin on LTIR, and what that does, boys and girls, is that it extends the New York Islanders cap from 88 million to 96, roughly. Okay, it's at 8 million. So you can keep everybody through the month of October. Give them another month. I don't know if Patrick Waugh and Lou Lamoriello really want to do that, but we'll find out. But for me, I think Hudson Fasching, you could probably clear him now because there isn't much of a value to him. Matt Martin to become a special advisor to the GM once released from his PTO. You know what, Cutler? I maybe more on the lines of player development.
Yeah.
Maybe player development. I would start him off there first. Player development, maybe move him to a scout at some point if he wants to do that. Again, depending on how long Sorokin's really out for, do you re-sign Matt Martin? That would probably be one telling tale. If the Islanders actually signed Matt Martin to a contract, I think Ilya Sorokin might be out longer. That might